pleasure really all year long. And I've enjoyed every minute. And come to this point, and you guys are walking in, really got a little emotional there because you know, this is the last time together this way, and it's all been good. And I hope that you have listened a little bit. I hope you've learned a little bit. I hope you'll apply that and take some with you. And we come to this point. I got one more message to share with you. One more piece of information. One more little bit that I can throw into your life and hopefully send you on your way on the right foot, on a good foot. And General Broom, thank you for your support throughout the year, and all the faculty and staff and all of you parents, your kind words to me and to all of us. We appreciate it so much, and we're so appreciative of that. Thank you again very much. Fellas, I've enjoyed getting to know you. Well, most of you are a joy to know. Some of you are a little difficult to know. That's just life. That's the way it's going to be. But I love every one of you. And from the very beginning, I hope that you have felt that. And before you get into the message, I have compiled a tribute to each one of you. And I'd like to share that with you. And what I did was I wrote everybody's name down, and I wrote the first thing that came to mind. Now, some of this is going to make no sense to you folks, because you weren't in class or walking around with me. But I'm thinking that it'll mean something to them at least. And it might give you a picture into their life a little bit as it's been in the last year. So here we go. I'm just going to read your name, and the first thing that came to mind. Cadet Arnold, always looking for an angle Arnold. Cadet Beck, silent. Cadet Braswell, Mills or Evan, I'm still not sure. Cadet Brochard, thank you, sir. Cadet Bunner, the only reason I'd ever go to West Virginia. Cadet Castellano, it's Castellano. Cadet Chain, sensitive, tough guy. Cadet Chan, are you Chang? Cadet Chang, are you Chan? Hint for you two out. Cadet Chen, best questions ever. Cadet Davis, my brother from another mother. Cadet Denoso Thomas, worst questions ever. Cadet Dorfman, high intensity. Cadet Fallon, Cadet Jason Fields. Cadet Josh Fields, my big huggy bear. Cadet Fushish, Nicaragua's nicest. Wait a minute. You're from Honduras, right? I can't ever figure that out either. Somewhere down there. Cadet Glenn, chaps, I broke his nose. I broke his nose. Cadet Trey, Grundy. Cadet Gurley, painfully goofy. Cadet Hall, chaps, are you kidding me right now? Cadet Harold, I always thought you were Braswell, and I'm really not sure why. Cadet Hoffman, my Catholic best friend. Cadet Hu, best Oriental snacks ever. Cadet Kaiser, lefties up, my brother, lefties up. Cadet Kayunga, water. I need water. Cadet Kim, in my mind, he is corner seat Kim. Every day, every day, every day. Cadet Katie, the commissioner. You know. Cadet Leidy, Virgil. Cadet LV, how do you spell that? I like that. Cadet Nick Christian, chaps. Want to see a picture of my girlfriend or my new truck? Cadet McFarland, a true American soldier. Cadet McIntosh, nope, I am not in a hurry. Cadet Nadar, my man. Cadet Mitchell, Cadet NG, chaps, I'm listening with my eyes closed. Cadet Ngabos, so many Ngabos, so little time. Cadet Over, chaps, let's take a selfie. Every day. Cadet Perry, that's Marcus with a K. This comes in my head. Cadet Peterson, it's Mebane. I'm from Mebane. Cadet Piao, Cadet Cadet Price, the negotiator. Cadet Roberts, Hundo, baby! Cadet Sabat, best voice impersonator ever. Cadet Salmon, tech geek extraordinaire. Cadet Silk, smooth. Cadet Singleton, my bluegrass brother. Cadet Smith, a true gentleman. Cadet Spalding, Model T. Cadet Stone, funny personified. Cadet Sue, sweet Danny Sue. Cadet Sullivan, don't rush me. Cadet Taylor, sun's out, guns out, baby, right here. Cadet Walker, obviously, bang, bang. And Cadet Zhao, honestly, I can't understand a word you're saying still. Enjoyed every minute of it. You've been great students, and I've enjoyed getting to know you. As we finish up, I want to share with you four B's that I hope you will apply to your life as you move to this next stage of life. Number one, we're going to go through these pretty quickly. Out of this verse of scripture that Coach Odette read so well, I appreciate that. Number one, the first B is to be more than one-dimensional. Get into your life, I want you to be more than one-dimensional. Verse 2 says that they were armed with bows and were able to shoot arrows or to sling stones, right-handed or left-handed. Not a whole lot of people can do that and do it well. These warriors that David had, and these guys were soldiers who had fought with the previous king, which, because you were in my Bible class, you know that the king before David was Saul. Thank you. Woo! Let's go that one. King before David was Saul. These guys were fighting with Saul, and now they're moving to a new stage of life because Saul is dead. David's the new king, and they're giving their allegiance. And they came to David, but they didn't just have one ability. They had many abilities. They were not one-dimensional people. They had learned to do several things well. I want to encourage you to be more than one-dimensional in your life. Learn how to be right and how to be wrong. That is a skill. Learn when to speak up and when to shut up. Some of you certainly need the second part of that. Learn the art of encouragement and the art of criticism. Learn when to move forward and when to stay put. Learn how to love. And learn how to be loved. Be more than one-dimensional. The second thing is to be ready for anything. In verse 8 it says some of these Gadites defected to David in the desert. They were brave warriors, ready for battle, and able to handle the shield and the spear. Their faces like the faces of lions, and they were swift as gazelles in the mountains. Sometimes you will need to be defensive and protective, represented by the shield. Sometimes you'll need to be aggressive and on the offensive, represented by the spear. Sometimes you will need to be strong and assertive like the lion, standing for what is right. Sometimes you will need to be swift like a gazelle and get away from temptation and get away from wrong as fast as you can. I don't know if I can say that enough. Sometimes you just need to run really fast in the other direction. And when life's difficulties hit you like a flash flood, as it says in verse 14, The least was a match for 100, the greatest for 1,000. It was they who crossed the Jordan in the first month when it was overflowing at all its banks. And they put to flight everyone living in the valleys. The Jordan was flooding, and they had to get through it. And they decided we're just going to get through it. And when the floods come to your life, when things happen so fast, it's like a flash flood. Sometimes you're going to just need to get through it and be ready for anything that happens. Be ready for anything, because everything is possible. Do not think for a second that you are immune to certain things. Everything is possible. Be ready for it. Thirdly, always be aware of your situation. In verse 32, it describes to us the men of Issachar. It says, the men of Issachar who understood the times and knew what Israel should do. Don't live as if you live in a cave by yourself, because you don't. Understanding the time, when it says they understood the time, it means they were aware of the situation around them. They were aware of the people and the circumstances and everything that was going on. And gentlemen, listen, the world you're about to go into is full of turmoil and moral decay. That's just the way it is. It's been that way. It's not going to change a whole lot. But it's the world you're going into. Understand that's what it is. But also understand that that world needs bright young men to be leaders. Bright young men who are willing to stand for what is right and what is good. And when you understand the time, you understand what it takes to actually do that. And it says these guys not only understood the time, they knew what Israel should do. When temptation comes your way, will you know what to do? When life isn't fair, will you know what to do? When bad things happen, will you know what to do? I say you will if you are always aware of your situation. Not living in a cave, doing your own thing. But living in this world and all that it has, always be aware of your situation. And then the last thing, always be prepared. Verse 33, it says, the men of Zebulun, experienced soldiers, prepared for battle with every type of weapon. Every type of weapon. That's the kind of soldier I'd like to have. Somebody who knows how to use every type of weapon. Because then they're prepared. They're ready. You don't have every weapon yet, gentlemen. You don't. You're graduating from high school. There's a lot of life left for you to live. A lot of things left for you to experience. But even though you don't have all the weapons yet, you have a lot more than when you started, whenever that was at Hargrave. If it was just the beginning of the year, maybe it was just in January, maybe it was 3 years ago or 6 years ago, I don't know. But you have a lot more than whenever it was you started. Going through life is sort of like playing a video game. Those games when you accomplish tasks, you're walking through and you do certain things and you accomplish the task. You gain experience. That little experience bar gets wider. You gain experience or you gain a new weapon that you're going to need later. And that's kind of how life goes. When you suffer loss, you gain experience. When you go through emotional pain, you're gaining experience. When you fail miserably, you're gaining experience. You're gaining weapons to use in life. These experiences will prepare you to deal with whatever life has for you. Gentlemen, it's too easy to take the bad things that happen to you and allow them to make you angry and bitter young men. Don't do that. Because the bad things are there to help you grow. They're there to give you the experience you need for what's coming next in your life. Embrace those things. Let the bad things make you better, so you can be prepared for whatever comes next. And the last thing I want to share with you comes out of verse 38, almost to the end of the chapter, where it says, all these were fighting men who volunteered to serve in the ranks. They came to Hebron fully determined to make David king over all of Israel. Fully determined. There was not a doubt in their mind what they were going to do and what their plan was. They were fully determined. And I want to encourage you tonight as we leave this place to be fully determined. First of all, to be fully determined to go back to study hall and not do terrible things. It's your last one. Okay? Be fully determined. Some of you have a test tomorrow in my class. And I'm sure you got a test in somebody else's class. Fully determined. But also, let me encourage you to be fully determined to be more than one-dimensional. You're going to go to college and get a degree in a specific thing. Don't let that make you one-dimensional. Take it all in. Learn all that you can. Secondly, be fully determined to be ready for anything that happens. Because everything is a possibility. Be fully determined to be aware of your situation. Never get complacent. Never decide that you've got it figured out. And finally, be fully determined to always be prepared for what's coming next. Bow your heads with me. Let's pray together.